Okay, why we wait for Chinenye to take over, I would just like to reiterate some facts or some rules or some things that were said yesterday. For the sake of ensuring that we have a hitch-free transmission, make sure that your video and audio are muted when you're not talking, so as to ensure that we don't have any break or interruption. And also, do remember that attendance is very important, and we're taking note of that. And the end of the training, so that to grade the proposal, and then we're also going to use it as part of attendance. So you have to take that into consideration while you are learning, because everything you are learning today, tomorrow, and the last day, you have to put it into practice to ensure that you write your proposal very well. Hello, Chinenye. I think your video and mic are unmuted, but I can see you and I can hear you as well. Okay, I was talking about the things that you have to take notes into consideration as a training and proceed. You have to make sure that you attend, because attendance is very important. By taking notes of that, and the impact fund too is very important. And you are all going to write proposals at the end of the training. We're going to mark the proposals, though I'm not going to be the one. Your facilitators are going to assess the proposals, and the best three are going to win the impact fund. And we're also going to use the proposal as part of assessment for your attendance, because if you submit it, then we know that you attended a boot camp. So even if you don't need anything like the $100 impact fund, you have to know that it's going to contribute to your attendance. So please take note of that. I believe Ogechi is not ready. Maybe she's having network challenges from her side. So we don't have time to wait. So we just proceed from here. So for the fact that some persons were not here yesterday, we would like to have a recap of some of the things that were discussed, and to introduce the youth proper to PFFs, so that you have an understanding of the foundation or the organization and what this leadership bootcamp entails. So I would like to invite the president of the foundation, in person of Christian Sokrochu, to briefly introduce us to PFF and the Africa Impact Bootcamp once again. So, sir, you can go on.
Okay, I was also muted previously. Can anyone hear me? Can just give a thumbs up if you can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can hear you.
Okay. I'm thinking that we are having a little network problem today, and I don't know what is going on. First of all, Ogechi, we cannot hear you. It may be wise for you to leave the chat and come back. If you leave the chat and come back, then enable your audio. That way you can be able to participate more. So what I want to do is, I want to thank our speaker for having the time. Thank you, Bada, for coming in to speak with us today. We are really grateful for your time. And what I want to say is that I will just introduce PFF, what we do, why this bootcamp, how you can help if you want to participate or be a volunteer with PFF, and what you can do, how this bootcamp can help you. As I said, it may be wise to leave the chat and come back in and enable your audio if you can't hear anything. Precious Fountain Foundation was started 7 years ago, and the idea was to participate in rectifying areas of need educationally in Nigeria, for starters. In Nigeria, we started with this process of having people know that there is educational problems in Nigeria. And then we started talking about how each of us can participate in helping to make that educational process better. So what we do in PFF, starting in 2014, was that we visit communities that need help to set up, let's say, a scholarship fund for brilliant students. We go to places where students are unable to have access to educational materials. We give books, we give pens, we train teachers, we do seminars. And one other place of need we've seen is that Nigerian undergraduate students, and many of them do not have access to, say, counseling. Nigerian students do not have access to things that are very available in schools in developed countries. And so we started working towards resolving that problem. However, we found also that the needs we are resolving in Nigeria is the needs of many African countries. And so we expanded our remit to be not just an Africa-wide, not just to be a Nigeria-wide community, but to be Africa-wide as well. And as you would have guessed, we also observed that many of the countries that were formerly colonized, developing countries, have similar problems. What did we do? We expanded our remit as well. We expanded our remit to include these communities that help in these communities and places, no matter where you are in the world. So you could be in Sri Lanka, you could be in India, you could be in Nigeria, you could be in South Africa. Our problems are usually similar, and PFF decided to expand this mandate to reach out to these communities, to these countries, and to these persons. And I want to tell you that in fact, this whole PFF event is put on by young people like you, many of them undergraduate students, some of them postgraduate students. And the idea is to help physically and in any other manner in rectifying areas of educational need. And so we also look at the community as a whole, and we say, if people have education, what can help to make them be more successful? What is really the problem that makes many countries undeveloped? And the problem is leadership. If your leadership does not prioritize education, they are not going to give funds towards education. And in order to resolve that problem, we said the best we can do is to teach everyone how to be leaders, like yourself, like every other person that will come in contact with PFF. If we believe that if we kickstart a revolution of leadership across developing countries, that is the only way we can compete on all fours with people who have been developed, so to speak. And you, as a person sitting in this call, you are a good example of what we are trying to achieve. You have made the effort, you have sat down, and I am aware that for many of us, it's really difficult to have access to internet, but you did have access to internet. You are sitting down now and you are trying to listen to this conversation. You are disciplining yourself to be a leader. And we hope that by the time Bada finishes today and this whole bootcamp runs this course, you are going to be somebody who understands your unique placement as a leader and what you can do as a leader within your community first. And that brings us to this International Leadership Bootcamp. This International Leadership Bootcamp is like many of the things that PFF does. And as I said, PFF is largely run by young students like you, young people who are just finishing university, young people who feel like they have a lot to contribute. These are young people from different countries, from different levels of life, and they believe that in their community, they can make a difference. So if you want to be a part of PFF, you want to join what PFF can do, you want to be a PFF volunteer, send us a message, send us an email, inbox us on our social media platforms, and you can be one of us. That's literally all it takes. And I want to add that this International Leadership Bootcamp is created for somebody like that. So what do we want to do in this bootcamp? We want to bring you leadership training and fund your leadership project in your community. So if, for example, you are somebody, you are part of a local community, let's say you are in people come out, they play football in the mornings, and you can do an event that brings them together and tells them, speaks to them, because the spoken word is really important to us. We can give you $100 towards that small event. You can do a bigger event. You can go to schools in your community and speak to them in a large manner. You know, we have somebody like that who did a project like that last year. If you also want to meet a small community in your place of work or church or mosque or whatever, we don't really care where you put on that event. But as far as you are able to write us a clear proposal that explains exactly what you want to do, we are going to fund you with $100. And we are going to teach you how to write the proposal. So if you stick around, especially on the last day, we are going to have a full-on hands-on training on how to develop proposals for leadership events. You send it to us, we are going to look at it. Each one that looks very achievable, very easy and straightforward is going to be the one that will win this event. And then certification. Our certificates will be given to people who stay throughout the event. So from yesterday to Saturday, if you show up every 2 hours every day, you deserve to get a certificate. We are not writing down your names. We are going to allow you to report yourself. Self-report and say the truth. I know in Africa, we are not used to letting people say the truth by themselves. We want to punish them, but we are not going to do that. We are going to have you say the truth. If you attended throughout, tell us. We are going to send you your certificate in your mail. If you want to be part of the Impact Bootcamp, then by all means, you have to develop a proposal. You have to be here to learn how to develop that proposal. And then you have to tell us about the event you want to do, no matter how little or small it has to be. And then if you are somebody that has big ideas, you also want to work with PFF in your community, wherever it is. We are looking at creating an event for South Sudan very soon. If any of you are there and you want to participate in what we are planning to do, please let us know. No matter where it is, we can find a way to participate, work alongside you and get your event done. So yeah, PFF exists to help defective areas of education. We intervene through mentorships, seminars, scholarships, workshops, and actual handing of educational materials. We need your support. You can help us by sending us funds. We have our details on our website. If you have not followed us on social media, please do so now. Do so right now. Just go on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or LinkedIn. Type Precious Fountain Foundation. You are going to find our names there. Follow us on social media. You can support us by sharing our events. You can support us by participating in our events, or writing to be a PFF volunteer. You can also support us by bringing events that you think PFF can partner with you on. And I'm sure our speaker today has a lot to say about the topic. Bada has been leading a group of an NGO in the northeast of India for years. She's also a professor in OP Jindal University, and she has a lot to say about female leadership in a culture that does not look at that favorably. And I'm sure that many of us can benefit from what Bada has to say, and I have absolute confidence that for any of us that will participate in this event, we are going to really, really benefit from it. And finally, I will talk about the essay competition. The essay competition is a different project from this. Those who have submitted their essays, we are going to reply to you through your emails. The judges are on the final stages, and we are going to be hosting a gala 2 weeks after the end of this event. At that gala, we are inviting our speakers. We are inviting the people who won the PFF Impact Fund. We're inviting the people who won the essay competition. And if you get an invite, just be happy to that gala. So I think that is where I'll be drawing a curtain on my speech for today. And I want to wish you a wonderful time. Check out our social media handles, is on the chat. And yeah, we are going to have a nice time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Uncle Sam. So I think Chinenye is ready now, so she can take over from here. So thank you and welcome.
Okay. Good evening, everyone from Nigeria here. Can we all hear me? Please, if you can hear me, just raise your hand in the chat box that you can hear me, or just type it. Okay, so sorry about the network fluctuation this evening. All right, so right about now, we'll be calling up our speaker. Please type if you can hear me, so I'll be sure that everyone can hear me. Okay. Okay, so right about now, we'll be introducing our speaker. Yes, but before that, we also like to read out the rules again. Please, we'll unmute ourselves, both the video, both the audio. Sorry, mute yourselves. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand up, yes, and you'll be called up to ask your question. And if you are called up to ask your question, please, we want to see your handsome and your beautiful faces and hear your nice voice. Yes, so just do well to unmute yourself and open your video so that you can talk and we can see you if you are asked to ask your question. So right about now, we've been introducing our speaker. Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you, Uncle Socks, for what you said. Talking about that impact fund, I was the winner for last year's own 2022 edition. Yes, I was the winner, and it gave me the opportunity to carry out this project in a girls' secondary school in my area, and I was so happy about that. I'm even wearing the polo I used for itself. Yes, that's how it is. So I thank PFF for the platform for people to help others, for people to show others that, oh, this is how they care so much. Okay, so I'll be introducing our speaker for today. I am so happy because she's a woman, yes, so that we know that women are also making waves in the world today in the leadership aspect. So her name is Professor Badapbiang Tariang. She is from India. She is an associate professor of legal practice at Jindal Global Law School, Sonipat. She is the founder of the Christian Foundation, Shillong, and the All Library Initiative with the aim of mentoring the youth and in bringing about access to books in far rural and border areas in the Northeast region of India. She holds a Master of Law degree from SOAS University of London and a Bachelor of Arts in Law from National Law University, Jodhpur. She was awarded with Chevening Scholarship, and this scholarship is a leadership scholarship by the British government to pursue her master's in law, development, and globalization in London. Prior to joining academies, she worked as a lawyer with a UN rapporteur on the right to health and practice before several courts across India. She also worked as a consultant fellow under the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. She continues to work with grassroots communities in her home state of Meghalaya and has a passion towards primary education, menstrual health management, and Kasi indigenous rights. Oh, this is a good and very huge profile we have here. So if your hands are not too busy, just put a clapping emoji for her in the chat box as we welcome our speaker for today's session, Professor Badapbiang. Professor Badapbiang, the floor is over to you now. The floor is over to you now, ma.
All right, thank you so much, Chinenye. I hope I pronounced your name correctly for that enthusiastic introduction. All right, so to begin with today, I just want to thank Precious Foundation for inviting me. Our favorite Uncle Sop, who's always so good at bringing everybody together, and Francis, who has worked very hard and who's communicated with me all of this time. Thank you so much, Francis, for all your hard work, and thank you, Chinenye, for your introduction about me. So today I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to make it short and sweet. There are basically three things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about how you can become a leader. When you talk about how you can become a leader, there is no straitjacket formula. So I will not I will not flood you all with a lot of quotes. I will not flood you all with a lot of, jargon here and there, but I'll just get straight to the point and be realistic about things. Okay, so I'm going to share with you my PowerPoint presentation, where it is a story about, it's basically a story about how a person can become a leader. All right. So when you look at this image, what can you see? You can see, the person who's like, red in color and everyone is following them, right? And you have learned, and I have gauged upon what you have learned in the last few, speeches, where you learned about, okay, a good leader is someone who has charisma, who has good characteristics, someone who can motivate people, someone who has accountability and who is transparent. All right, so you know all of this, but that's not what I'm going to do today. I'm not going to talk about the different definitions of things, but I'm just going to tell you a simple story about how I began my foundation. But first of all, I will talk about how every person can become a leader, because leaders are not born. Leaders are always and most definitely made. You can come from the richest family. You can come from the royal family. You've seen like Princess Diana. She was not a born leader, but it took time for her to become the person who she was, in fact. And then you look at Malala as well. All right, so leaders are not born, but they are made. What I want to tell you today is that every one of you can be a leader in your own capacity. All right, whether in class or field or stage or anywhere. All right. So when you look at this image, you can see that, people are always trying to reach for the stars, okay, to reach for your goal, to dream, to have ideas, right? Because without words, without ideas, it can never lead to anything. But is it enough just to have a dream? For me, I believe in the realist school of thought. You have to be a realist. It's good to be an idealist, but you have to be a realist. So my whole talking point today is about being a realist by showing you certain examples of how you can become a leader. And like I told you, there's no straitjacket formula, so I will not go into any of those definitions. Okay, so you can see here, ideas are just ideas, dreams are just dreams. If you do not take action, so if you don't take action, anything can just stay as ideas, and you can just stay and just be dreams in your head. So coming to this point, how are some leaders, how some leaders are made? Okay, leaders are made, they can lead through example. They are good with connecting with people, that is your networking. Sometimes it's due to circumstances. Sometimes you want to make a change, you are motivated, you are led by motivation and you're led by passion. So I will first talk about, how some leaders are made. Sometimes it is by passion. And if you have a passion towards something, you can achieve anything. I feel you have heard of this word so many times, right? This word passion. But I want to be realistic. Is it enough to have passion? Definitely not, because there needs to be a space of comfort, space and time, what to say, you're mentally, you are sound and you want to do that particular thing. Because sometimes you may have passion for something and you want to do something, but you're unable to because you do not have that support system. So it is not enough just to have passion. You can lead with passion, but you need a motivating factor. All right. So with passion, you can definitely achieve things, but there is a certain space of comfort, all right, that you have to be in. So for instance, for me, even though I was passionate with, with children, with working with children for a long time, but I cannot do that because I come from a very, remote area. I belong to the Khasi tribe, which is a matrilineal tribe. By matrilineal, I mean that the woman's last name, it is the family name. All right. So if once I have children, I have a daughter, so my daughter will take my family name. All right. So we are a very different tribe from the rest of India. So yes, you can have passion, but you need motivation as well. Motivation, why? You need to be motivated to do something. Okay. And some people, they become leaders. How? Because they want to make a change. Maybe they see a certain problem that is there, in their area. All right. They see a certain problem, maybe in the classroom amongst their classmates. So you want to make a change. All right. For instance, like the best example is Malala. Okay. Yousafzai, for her, her story, right? She fights for female education. She fought for female education in Pakistan, but then she was shot, and she was shot, and then later on, she could never ever go back to her hometown, and she began her movement as soon as, not as soon as she was shot, but even before that, right? So she wanted to make a change, wanted to improve the conditions of, females in her country of Pakistan, and to ensure that they get access to education. So you have to want to make a change. If you're just doing it just for the sake of doing it, it is, you can't be conceited like that, right? You have to want from your heart. And again, Malala is another example of circumstance. Sometimes people become leaders because of circumstance, right? If you look at even Nelson Mandela, okay, he became a leader due to circumstance. Malala became due to circumstance. Greta became a leader due to circumstance, right? So sometimes there are circumstances which propels you to become a leader, all right? And then how some other people also, they become leaders because of their networks. There's so many people within their circle who are in that, place of influence, so they become leaders. So there are many ways in which, leaders can be made, but it is not to deter you to say that you cannot become a leader, because every one of us can become a leader. And how do we do that? We need to have the passion. We need to want to make change. And I know most of you are attending this, talk, want to make a change, right? So sometimes we always try to complicate things, but what I want to tell you, students, is to simplify. There will always be an issue, but you try to simplify by using simple solutions. Say, for instance, when it comes to menstrual health, okay, of women, and they do not have access to, say, sanitary pads, what is the solution? The solution is to make, reusable sanitary pads, so that, period poverty can be reduced, and, you can keep reusing that particular cloth pad, right? That is an example. And also maybe there's a school that may not have a library. All right, so how do you create these libraries? I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about how a simple person can also make a change. So let us, I don't know why it's not working. Okay, so you have to understand that leadership is service and not position. Because many times we think leadership, okay, you have Barack Obama, who's the former president of the United States, or you have certain foreign ministers. You have to be a diplomat to be a leader. Not at all. Just because you're in a position, okay, you're a leader, but leadership is not always about position, but it's about service, the things that you do for others. All right, so to talk about leadership is service, I'm going to tell you a story about BOOTCAMP. Okay, so BOOTCAMP, he is a person from my tribe, okay, from the Khasi tribe. He is a government school teacher. He's a government school teacher, and he teaches in a very remote area. The hill, where he's standing right now, that is the location of his school. Okay, it is in this place called Raiba, which is in northeastern India. And the challenges that he faces is obviously, number one is the location. It is a very remote place. And another thing with respect to his background is that he doesn't come from a rich background. He's just a very, very simple teacher, very simple person, and he does not have access to many things. And even his school, for a long time, even though it existed, but teachers never took the pains to go there. They're generally city people who get that job, but they never go and teach the children there, because it's a very, very remote place. And they escape by just giving proxy attendance for the teacher. So as soon as BOOTCAMP joined the school, he ensured that he would be present. He would be present for his students. So the first thing is, to be a leader, you should be present, okay, and you should lead by example. So for him, besides his title being a government school teacher, he became a guide to his students, and he also became a friend to all his students. So you can see here, there's so many students that are there, and actually the infrastructure is quite bad. And this particular government school has been there since the 1950s, and you can see they are leaking holes. They don't have proper infrastructure. They don't have any library. They don't have a proper sanitation. All right, so they don't have any of those things. But then BOOTCAMP wanted to do something. Okay, and this is an example perhaps for you all also to perhaps emulate. I'll just show you a little bit about his school. Okay, so I will just share this video. I hope you can see it. Can you see this video? Full screen. Please let me know. Can you see my video? Can someone turn on their mics and tell me if you can hear it? If you can see this video.
I can see the screen, but the video is not displaying. Yeah, it's playing now. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to show you that small clip so you can see, how remote his school is, and that nobody, wants to even go teach there because they do not care. All right, but as Uncle Sop had already told you, the education is the beginning of everything. And in this area, there are a lot of people who are drug addicts. There are a lot of people who face a lot of poverty. So although it is a very bountiful place, but yet there can be many different issues. Okay, mainly poverty. Okay, so I won't really say a big drug issue, but yeah, mainly poverty. And also there's no proper education, so many students, they flee from the village, and then it becomes like a ghost town. But since BOOTCAMP has come to this place, there has been more students who started enrolling in this small school instead of traveling many kilometers, say like 30-40 kilometers even on foot. So due to his presence, he could make a change in the lives of the students. So just the beginning of being a leader is to be present. Okay, so it doesn't you don't have to do anything big, but just a simple thing as being present. He had more following, more students coming into his school instead of it being an isolated place. And that's why, like I told you, the infrastructure is also not good, because because nobody cared to come, not even government officials. All right, because it's too remote. So but he was just present, and it made a big difference. And also you can see here, he used the resources that were there. Like sometimes you can see, people are always using plastics, and they're always using many kind of things like that. So the government, in India, they provide midday meal schemes. Okay, this midday meal means they provide a meal for students so that they can come and eat in school, so that they can be healthy and they can concentrate. So what BOOTCAMP has done is, even from his own pocket, he started spending so that they could get a proper nutritional meal. And he uses these which you can see here. Okay, they are actually betel nut cover. Okay, just like how you have these husks and things like that. So he made the students use this instead of using, say, plastic plates, or what can I say, or anything that is disposable. Okay, that is not biodegradable. So he made sure that his students use this. And at the same time, what he taught his students is to be clean. So as you can see, the school here, it may be full of what to say, like it is, you can see that it is very clean. Previously to this, students, they didn't even have any control, they would just litter around. But he made a change in the small village by being present and teaching his students. So like I told you, there are many issues with the school. How can students study when they are leaking roofs? And this particular school is located in the rainiest place in the world's heaviest rainfall. Okay, it falls in my hometown, in my area. It's called Mausan Ram. So in this area, you have the heaviest rainfall. So as you can imagine, having leaking roofs, that means classes cannot be held because of the same. So BOOTCAMP felt that, okay, he should do something about it. And the government were not paying any attention to him, because it's a small school and would not give any of these politicians any limelight. So they don't care, because it's a remote place with very less people. So you can understand there'll be very less, vote bank, very less people to vote. But he wanted to make a change. So as you can see here, BOOTCAMP is from the story, he is a simple man, but he wants to make a change. This is an example where you can also follow. Okay, being a leader by being present, by being present, and by seeing that there is a problem and you want to help. And the next thing is, we know if you want to make a change, money is involved, right? Without money, there's certain things that you cannot do. So this is an example I'll tell you about, how you can do crowdfunding. Okay, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. All right, so the little drops of water coming from so many rivers, they make a mighty ocean. Together we can do so much. So what did he do? There was his friend, okay, who started this crowdfunding. So online, you can start your own perhaps crowdfunding page. Are you able to see this? Okay, so the story is keep the children dry in the wettest school in the world. What they mean is because this place, it receives the heaviest rainfall in the world and the most amount of rainfall, okay, in the entire world. As you can see, it's very lush and green, but it creates a lot of problems. So he started a crowdfunding through his friend. And he wanted around $1,000. So this is 1 lakh rupees in Indian currency. It's around 1,000 pounds or $1,000. I don't know how to calculate it in naira, but I hope you understand when I use the dollar or the pounds, right? So he wanted 1,05,300 rupees to to improve the school, okay, so that they can have certain facilities. All right, and if you look at I just don't have those pictures, but I'll show you through through this crowdfunding page, okay, where you can see that they don't have proper sanitation because the bathrooms are defunct. They don't have, so if the bathroom is defunct, that means it can be very unhygienic, or where they can just defecate in the open, and and then it creates a lot of health issues, right? So he started this, okay, and just within a few days he raised over more than what he was asking. He asked for 1,500 rupees, but he got 1,25,000 rupees. Okay, so he got more than what he asked for. But how do you do crowdfunding? It's easy to just say, donate to me, donate for this, donate for that. But in order for people to trust you, so they donate towards your cause, okay, you have to tell them a story. Okay, you have to tell people a story. All right, you have to tell people a story. So the beginning of this crowdfunding page is, they talk about the students. So here you can see they say the school is co-ed. That means it's co-educational for both boys and girls, consisting of 65 students, and it includes the first grade up to the 5th. Being situated in the remotest region, having no encouragement in attaining proper education in the previous years, and no access to basic learning facilities, the students have been completely shut off from the rest of the world. The arrival of a new teacher helped in creating a healthy environment for learning and participating in educational activities. We are overjoyed to spend the day with the children, from whom we have heard so many stories from the teacher about their enthusiasm to gain knowledge. So these are not my words, but they are the words of this person named Ibarihun, okay, who is a friend and who wanted to help BOOTCAMP to raise these funds. As I told you, he's in a remote area, so he cannot have easy access to the internet as well. So, so one of the questions he asks is, what is that you like about school? Okay. So there's this person whose name is Jade. He responded by saying, I like my teacher. He teaches us so many things, and he is very patient with us. Then Ibarihun asked, do you like coming to school? And Jade said, oh yes, it is where I have the happiest time of the day. Jade, he was reading in the 5th grade at this time. And then this storytelling about, first about the school children, then about the teacher. He goes by the nickname of Schem. It was his first year being posted as the head teacher and only teacher at the school. He is aspirational in creating an environment where his students are encouraged to ask questions and explore the creative imagination. An example of this encouragement would be, I noticed that the children didn't bring their steel plates, but instead brought dried areca leaves folded at the corners to form a plate. I teach and encourage my students to be resourceful and eco-friendly. As you can see, I showed you that example where, they were eating the midday meal scheme, the midday meal in, those dried areca nut husks, actually. I believe that that even with very little, we can be exceedingly presentable to those who see beyond. I am also passionate about creating a green school where utilities are eco-friendly, starting with pencil boxes made out of bamboo and planting flowers and trees. So in and around this area where it seems so, like a desert, he made certain changes. So I will show you that crowdfunding page. Okay, so you can see that example. All right, I have to shift through. Okay, why can't I? Sorry. Uh-oh. Why can't I move this? Back. All right, I'll just move to that page. I will show you in a bit. Just hold on. Just hold on. Why I want to show you this, so that maybe you can learn through example. Okay. Okay, all right. Yes, here it is. Can you see this page, everyone? Can I remove this? How do I mean,
yes, man, we can see it.
I know, no, but this thing, I feel like, it's always, how do I minimize this? Okay, hide. Yes, now it's better. Okay. So this is a site called Milap. Okay. And this is where the story was being told about the school in order to improve the school. So as you can see here, the sanitation facilities, it's like defunct. This is the school which you saw. This is how it is. See, it's always raining in this place. It rains more than London, more than the UK. So as you can see here, this is the infrastructure. So this is the donate button. Since now it is over, there's no more, this QR code is no longer functional. So this was created by a person named Ibari Hun Majao. So she's the one who helped him. So this is the story, that she starts telling. Hello there. My name is Ibari Hun Majao. I'm writing this short story as part of my contribution to support the school children of Raiba. Please read our story till the end. So this is how she begins. So why I want to teach you this, I want to teach you that, it's important to learn how to tell a story. So first she talks about the location of the school. Okay. The school, it was established in 1950, located in Raiba village, situated in the foothills of Mausanram, East Khasi Hills in Meghalaya. Okay, so she then explains about, the downpour, the torrential downpour of the rain that happens in this area. All right. So then she talks about the students, she talks about the teacher, and finally she comes to the need, the school infrastructure. So you can see here, it has 3 classrooms. The classrooms have a metal frame and all of that. The toilet doors need to be repaired. Actually, if you see, it's completely defunct. So in order to ask people to give you funds, okay, maybe you want to create an impact in your locality, in your area, whichever country you are from, you need to tell a story and you need to talk about the funds that are required. If you don't give numbers, then people might not trust you. Complete strangers will not trust, they won't trust any random place where they can just donate their hard-earned money, right? So here, they've given all the nitty-gritties required. Repairing work for windows, it'll cost around this much. So these are just the amount. Okay, see, total funds needed 1,05,000, which is around more than 1,000 pounds. All right. So here a request, the amount of donation in Raiba LP school starts from this. but our actual requirement is much more, and we appreciate every donation that comes through to support the noble cause. The donation will be used in educating and fulfilling all the basic needs of the children living in a remote and wettest region on earth. All right. So this is the funding story of, with respect to BOOTCAMP school. All right. All right, let's go back to the PPT. So we've learned about BOOTCAMP and how you can do crowdfunding, because I just didn't want to do a presentation where I'll just talk about theories, but what are the practicalities that are required, when you're a leader and you want to be a change maker. Even though you might not have any money in your hands, but you can always get a group of people to help you. And it first begins with either well-to-do families, with family, or with your friends, even if they can donate even 1 rupee or 1 pound, or less than even 1 cent, $1, right? So you can see here, from this it went to this. You can see the water tank. They've kept a roof over the bathroom, and it's more than just a paint job, because inside they have proper blackboards now. They have a cupboard to to house different books. All right, so this is the story about making a change. Okay, that even ordinary people, simple people can make a change. And for instance, though the crowdfunding was started by a different person named Ibarihun, it is just because in India, if you are a government, if you work for the government like BOOTCAMP, okay, he's a government school teacher, he cannot do this funding on his own, so somebody had to come in, right? But he is the one who contributed to the story. So storytelling, students, is a very important part, okay, in order for you to get, for you to crowd fund your project. So maybe you have a project, maybe in your home country there's an issue with respect to like say sanitary pads and all of that. So you can definitely use simple solutions through crowdfunding. All right, so that is the first example. Okay, leading by example, leading by being present, being a leader by guiding students, by showing that you can make a change through simple things. So even an ordinary person can become a leader. You do not need to be born to be a leader. Okay, so the next thing that I'm talking about, although you've heard from my profile, I've done many things as a lawyer, but I feel true leadership begins at the grassroots. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I'll talk about my own foundation. Okay, I'm going to talk about the OWL Library Initiative. So the OWL Library Initiative, you can see here, and you may think, okay, you have a foundation, but how is it functioning? How do you make these libraries? So basically, this is setting up of mini libraries all over the remote areas in the northeastern region. Okay, so here, what I've done is, it is a zero budget initiative. Okay, a zero budget initiative. Just hold on. It is a zero budget initiative. So you might think, how can I start a foundation? How can I start a project on a zero budget? That sounds impossible. I had just shown you an example where you needed crowdfunding, right? But you can also do the same even if you do not have money. So I'm just talking the field of education where, there are certain children who live in very remote areas where there's no access to the internet, no access to the telephone, no access to newspapers. What do you do? How do you bring these out? I myself, I come from, a backward tribe in my home state. And I myself studied in a government school where there were leaking roofs. But since it was situated in an urban area and, it's different from other government schools, I'll say, it's a more privileged government schools than all the other ones that you see in India. All right. So the public education system all over the world faces certain kinds of problems. All right. So, but coming back to the OWL Library Initiative, zero budget. So how do you start a zero budget initiative? How do you, begin to build a library? So the other key word here is crowdsourcing. From crowdfunding, now we are moving to crowdsourcing. where we're not even using any money, okay, but we are sourcing things through crowdsourcing. So how these libraries are made, they are not your Oxford library. They are not your very colonial type of, big buildings that were made on the backs of, all of us from the global south. All those big infrastructures that you see imperialists, what they have built, like Britain and, in Netherlands, all of that, it was, and France, it was all built on the backs of our ancestors, you and I, from the bountiful rich continent of Africa, and from the Indian subcontinent as well, right? So you can do things even if you don't have money. You can do this by motivating people to work together with you. So as a leader, you need to motivate others. Not only you yourself should be motivated, but you have to motivate others also. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Because if you work alone, there is nothing that you can do. You may be a leader and you feel, oh, I'm so charismatic, I make nice speeches, that's it. No, you have to get down to the nitty-gritties, and you have to, do the groundwork yourself. Okay, that is how you lead by example. So how I started this was, actually it started even before 2021, but nonetheless, this is a poster. And this is a poster regarding book donation drive. There was a literary festival, okay, in my home state. So I wanted to collaborate with them. They invited me and I said, yes, of course. So see, here you can see where it's written, gift magic, gift books, donate a book. Donate a book to the Our Library initiative. All books will go to children and communities who do not have access to books in their neighborhoods across Meghalaya. So there's a dropping point also. So what I want to say is, when you ask people, okay, if you ask them to give you entirely new books, it'll be very difficult for them to donate. Maybe they do not have that type of money, but you can say, why not donate pre-loved books? By pre-loved, I mean second-hand books, used books, right? Used children's books. So there is a big reading culture in the cities. So why not send these books? Again, zero budget how? We also, we put one drop-off point. And another thing is, through Amazon, we had asked, we have a wish list where people can choose those books and they can buy and send it to our address. That way, we do not have to deal with the shipping cost. Okay, so during this book donation drive that was happening in the Shillong Literary Festival, there was a young girl, you can see here, see, we had a book donation point, and, many people came to donate. So this is an example of one young girl. She's a young student. She used her own pocket money to buy around 40 plus new books. So we kept this in our campaign to show others, if a young person like her can gift, why not, other people also. So this is in a way to motivate other people. It's like a ad campaign, right? And for this, again, you might say, oh, but you need special tech to make such posters. No, all of these posters, they were made on Canva. So there are many tools which you can use which are for free. Okay, so this is a poster that I made in order to encourage others to donate more books. So big things come in small packages, right? We are so grateful. So again, with the human story, when people donate, you have to thank them, right? So again, by making a story. Then, there are many volunteers who mark each and every book. They seal everything, and there's proper indexing done. So the first thing is to get people to donate, putting out posters on social media, through word of mouth. Again, this whole campaign, we never printed even a single poster. Okay, and again, I understand that it depends on the place where you are, having this campaign. I can definitely not have this campaign in a, remote area where there's no internet, right? So this is mainly in the bigger cities. Okay, it was all through digital media, through Instagram. I will show you Instagram. All right. So the motivation for me to start this Our Library initiative was when I was working with the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. So my job was to work as a consultant with the ministry and the district and the village level. But I also saw that there was another thing that was not there. And the thing that was not there was this access to information. So even when I asked the students who's the first president of India, they had they had some clue, but they didn't know what was happening in and around. So that's how the Our Library started. Okay, when I saw that there weren't any, like tools for them to read, and this place in Anjao, as you can see, it's very remote. There are thick forests. Okay, this is in India, thick forest, and there's a very narrow a narrow bridge to reach to the other side. So you can see this person here, he is carrying all the books via a head load. Okay, that means on his head. And this is quite a common sight in this the continent of Africa, the subcontinent of India, where we see people carrying things not only on their backs but on their heads, right? So the head load. So after seeing that there was this issue, I did all of those campaigns and ensured that it reached all of these places. But how did it reach to all these remote places? I had to get to network with different people. And again, it was ordinary people who helped. And those ordinary people were the youth group, okay, in the village. They were the mother and fathers of those children. So it was like going campaigning, going to talk to them. And they saw that there was a need, so these books were transported from different parts of India to my hometown, and from my hometown, another 2-3 days journey to reach another, central transit town, and finally, I used the government vehicle to, obviously it was the deputy commissioner who sanctioned it. Okay, so she helped. So I had to get in touch with all of these people, all right, so that they could send these books here for free. And then wherever the cars could not reach, it was carried by the head load. So these are actually people from the youth group. And after this bridge, you can see here, they've gone to walk up the hill. This is the school, very remote, full of cows. Okay, this is up the hill. And this is the school actually. Okay, this is the school where children are there. And this is in a place, this is another place called Supliang. All right, so Anjao is very remote. And as you can see here, we do not have any fancy cupboard, but whatever was available, we made use. And there were times when, I motivated the youth group to build their own cupboards, because like I told you, it's zero budget. Where will we get the money for a cupboard? So we had to I encouraged the youth group to make these, and parents were more than happy, to create cupboards for their children. All right. So one of the activities is that it's not enough just to dump a bunch of books, but you need to teach them. So from this Anjao story, what happened was it became the Our Library initiative, that you see here, the Our Library. Okay, so that is the origin story of the Our Library. And now we have libraries, around 27 libraries across different border towns and different areas in my home state and it's present in around 5 states in India. India has 28 states. Of 28, we have presence in 5. And our concentration mainly, it is in the remote northeastern region of India. So these are the volunteers who come and read, do reading for the students, and they get certificates. All right. And now we also have advocacy, people who, am I exceeding the time? Please let me know. All right. So this is an example of how you can make a change through leadership by connecting with people. You can connect with simple, ordinary people. I am an ordinary person looking at problems, but that problem can be solved by doing small little things, right? So in this case, this library was created. This is near my hometown. And as you can see here, I love Malala. So I ensured that there was a poster about her, so that they would learn. This is another cupboard, an old cupboard that they used to house these books. So by library, It doesn't mean that you need a big, big library, but you can just have a simple cupboard also to house these books. Okay. We also have elderly readers. See, this is in my mother tongue, the Khasi language, in which there are adults also who use this. So these are in different areas. And there were students also, who sent us letters. So they said, obviously, we cannot judge them for the English and all of that. It is a colonial language they are trying to learn. So here, a class 7 student sent us a letter saying, dear ma'am, thank you for the beautiful books. I read 2 books, Abdul Kalam and Tinkle. It's fun to read. We all students like the books. Okay, so she wrote this, and she sent it to us. All right. So besides that, we also have volunteer teachers who would teach in the shelter home. Why you cannot see the the faces of these students? It is because they are they are children who face who face sexual violence. So at the tender age of 5, 6, 7, they've gone to a shelter home because they are rape survivors. All right. So their image is very sensitive, since we are not allowed under law to show their faces, because in order to protect their identity and to protect their safety. So here you can see we have a volunteer teacher teaching them maths. All right. So now from that little library, now it has become something more. This is in my home, this is in my hometown, in the city, so that therefore you have access to the internet, and you have, you can see, a better, a better classroom with better infrastructure in this shelter home. And I do teach also from time to time when I'm not teaching at Jindal, when I go back to my hometown. Okay, so from a little library, now it has become into something more than just a library. It's become an education movement where all college students also participate to teach, their free time to go and teach in these places. Because even though, I am proud of my mother tongue, but the official, language in India is English. And many of the jobs people get because they know the language, the English language. So that is why we have to teach them, but we also teach them how to be proud of their indigenous tongue as well, right? As a tribal people, we have to preserve our culture. The loss of language is the loss of culture, so we must preserve it. So in a sense, we encourage other people to also, to engage and to volunteer with our organization. So I will just show you our Instagram page and how, the internet has really helped us in garnering a lot of support. So can you see the screen, the Our Library on Instagram? Please let me know. Can you see it? Okay. Oh, so I have very little time. How much time do I have left? Please let me know. So I will talk accordingly. Okay. So I will try to make it short. So here, this is our Instagram. Book donations can be sent to the address below. Here's the address so that they know. And this is another one of the posters. I've also shared, this is one of the posters. This is a poster telling the story about, our library, saying thank you to everyone, more books for children, thank you Bangalore. Then we show them a report card that these are the places where we have set up libraries. Because more, when you tell a story, it is not enough to just say, give me money, but you have to show them, what you have done with all of those books. So this is a menstrual health camp. We've also done menstrual health campaigns. So you can see here, so since these children are not vulnerable, so we can show their faces. It's in another Anganwadi center that we have in Meghalaya. It's very complicated, so I'm not going to do that. There's another child, he was very shy, he donated books. We wanted to thank him. These, our students who are helping out, another volunteers. These are, again, volunteers who are receiving, these are basically students who wanted to learn more about our organization. So this is BOOTCAMP, as you can see him in action and teaching. This is our campaign. Right now, our major campaign is, to normalize periods so that women will not be, persecuted because of, menstrual health issues, right? So these are the comic books that I used for children. Okay, and we got a donation of around 5,000 Menstrupedia comics to be distributed across across my home state in the Northeast region. So see, so sometimes from time to time, I put posts like this. Don't be a lit snob. It is not nice to be a literary snob. Don't make people feel bad just because they don't read as much as you. We believe in giving each child a chance to have fun with books, but it must never be forced. So those are the kind of messaging. You've seen all of these photos that I've showed you. Our storytelling time. All right, so this is an example where you have to highlight the people who've helped you also to encourage others to read. This is an author from my hometown, like what I'm wearing right now. She's also wearing this. It's called a Khasi Jankasha or Khasi apron. So she's donated these, her book which she wrote. And these are the activities. All right, so this is what you can do on Instagram and get books donated. Perhaps you in your country, you can use this as an example and you can do the same. I do not have any copyright when it comes to anybody starting a library. So what, we can all do it. So you may be a an ordinary person, a simple person like me, but you can definitely start your own movement, like the library movement, on a zero budget. Okay, so now you understand, how to be a leader by being present, by being a guide, by taking action. It's okay to dream. You can have ideas, but if ideas are just ideas, then you cannot be idealistic, but you have to be realistic, right? So why I started this also and made it zero budget, because I wanted to be realistic, right? But now we have gotten more support, and we are open for funding now. We are getting funding in which we are going to start hiring people also. All right, instead of it just being a voluntary thing, but we are going to start hiring people to improve the lives of different social workers so that they can enable more students to learn. Okay, so that's what we are going to do now. And we are going to pay our teachers who go teach in these different remote areas. So from something that is zero budget, you can definitely turn into something that is funded as well, because you have to lead by example. You have to show, your work has to show for it. Okay. And finally, what I want to show you, since as you may have heard, that I'm also a Shivling scholar. Since you are all students, I wanted to share with you a little bit about the Shivling scholarship as a part of this talk today. How you can become a Shivling scholar, because Shivling scholarship is generally given to those who have leadership experience. And like I told you, I come from a very small town, and I've done these little simple things which has enabled me to get a Shivling scholarship so that I could fund my studies in the UK for 1 year. So I'll just talk only about one scholarship, that is the Shivling scholarship. Just bear with me, I am almost done. Okay, so scholarship based on leadership in the UK, you can definitely apply for your Shivling scholarship. What are the eligibility? So as you can see here, this is actually a picture that was taken from the Shivling website. It is not my own. Since it's used for educational purposes, I do not have any copyright of this. So the eligibility facts are there in the website. I will navigate you through it. Okay, who can apply for these scholarships, and do you require work experience? Of course, if you have to apply for a Shivling scholarship, you have to have work experience. All right. But first, before I show you, I navigate you through the Shivling website. They ask, besides many other questions, they ask you questions such as leadership and influence. Okay, you have to explain how you meet this criteria, the requirement. So you can only explain about this requirement after you have done something, after you have led by example. Okay, by doing different works, not just grassroots work, but maybe in your workplace, in your college, maybe you were a leader and you help student groups also, that can be included under your leadership and influence, how you were able to influence people in your college, the maybe the members of the faculty. I'm just giving you a small example. Okay, so leadership doesn't always have to be at a macro level. It can be in a micro level also, and it's perfectly okay. All right. You do not always need a recommendation letter from, say, the president of Kenya or Nigeria or South Sudan. Okay, but you just need a recommendation letter from someone who you've worked with and can testify to the things that you have done for your community. Okay, and another thing, besides showing your leadership and influence through the examples, through the things that you have done, you can also, you will also have to elaborate about networking. So the other question in Shevening is looking for individuals with strong professional relationship building skills who will engage in the Shevening community. Please explain how you build and maintain relationships in your professional capacity using clear examples. So over here, you have to gloat about yourself a little and you have to talk about your work. And how I began my essay for this is with my favorite quote. They say that little drops of water make a mighty ocean. And this cannot be more true if you want to create a lasting change. Because you can only create change if you work with others. People who are self-obsessed, narcissistic, only about self, they cannot make a lasting change. You have to look at doing things that will last. For instance, our library, it is a sustainable model. Why? Because we seek for leaders to take care of those libraries, okay, who are trained by us and who care about the community. Okay, and if it's not a youth member, maybe some village elders that will look after it, on a rotational basis, so that different kinds of children from their village will have access to those books. Okay, so networking is very important. Like you all are participating today, you're engaging with me, so this is a part of networking. You can always reach out to me. All right, so these are two very important questions in Shevening: leadership and influence, networking. And finally, I will just show you how you can navigate through how you can navigate through this what to say, the Shevening website. Let me just try. I think it's this one. Okay, just don't know how to remove this. Just hold on, students. How do I stop sharing this? How do I go? Okay, I'll just stop sharing. I'll just open another page, the Shevening page. All right. Okay. All right. So this is the Shevening website. All right. So you can see here, shevening.org. They have scholarships. So here, who can apply? Application timeline, guidance. Generally, it opens around August. And then there are fellowships. So fellowships are different from your scholarships. Scholarships, meaning they give a master's scholarship where you can study for 1 year, or you can do an MPhil. That is again just for 1 year, and you can go and study in London. And I'm telling you, they funded everything, my flight back and forth to my hometown. They gave me a clothing allowance. They gave me, besides the flight, they gave me a clothing allowance. They gave me an educational allowance. They gave me a stipend where I can live in London and I can, pay my rent and pay for my food. And I can tell you, it was more than sufficient. And I was able to save money also, so that, I could go on a little Euro trip. But due to pandemic, I was unable to. So here it is, eligibility. Okay, so you have to first check whether do you meet the criteria or not. So you have to see, Be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country. Mainly they are countries of the Commonwealth. Okay, basically countries that were once upon a time colonized by the British. Be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country. You have to return to your country of citizenship for a minimum of 2 years after the award has ended. Have at least 2 years of equivalent 2,800 working experience. So you might be students, but maybe you are doing part-time jobs. That can also, if you can prove, then you can that can add to your work experience. Okay, so this is the eligibility. You are not eligible for a Chevening scholarship if you hold a British or dual British citizenship, hold refugee status in a non-Chevening eligible country. But if it's a Chevening eligible country, like there was that huge crisis in Afghanistan, there was quite a number of Chevening scholars from Afghanistan when the US Army had left Afghanistan at that time. All right. So the simple thing is, you have to apply to 3 university courses, 2 years work experience. Okay, you have to finish an undergraduate degree with an upper second class honors. You don't need to be a topper, you don't need to be number 1, as long as you can prove that you're able to have an upper second class, then you can definitely be a Chevening scholar. All the details are here, and there's an alumni support. Maybe if I want to start my own conference, I can pitch for it when the funding opens. All right. So there's a network of people from all over the world, and generally for people from the continent of Africa, I believe you have more than 55 countries within Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the exact number. But during my time, there were around 500 Chevening scholars that were selected from Africa, because the priority of the British right now, of the British government, is Africa. All right, as you can see through the political climate, I will not go into those details, but definitely the focus right now is Africa. So I would definitely help you all if you're interested in applying. I'll be more than happy to guide you all. And with this, students, I've come to the end of my presentation. I hope you've learned to be a leader by being present, by doing something about it, not just leaving it in your dreams. Okay, if you can have money, you can not have money also, but you can always make a change if you work together with other people. Okay, so I've come to the end of this. Thank you so much, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. I will hand this mic back to Francis, or to or anybody who's looking after this. Thank you so much, everyone. You're not audible, cannot hear you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Badap, for that wonderful session. It was an enlightening. I learned so much. I think they say that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And I think that is like a wonderful quote, something we can always learn from. So briefly, questions from our part. Any question that you want to raise your hand up?
I want to thank you, brother, for your conversations. Part of the things we want to do in PFF, and that is why I am trying so hard to have students, undergraduate students majorly participate as part of PFF volunteers is that I know being able to work as a PFF volunteer helps you in applying for things. This is a work experience we are giving you. Take, for example, Francis that has put on this event, or Bisola that also works for us in PFF, and the host here. Doing an event like this is a very complicated process. There are many young people doing a lot of things that don't even know how to, package the application. And I thank you for linking what has happened today with Chevening. And I like the trajectory of your meeting. I don't think anybody can say they've not learned a lot. So I will have Chinenye now take over the call. I think Francis has a little problem with his audio and it's really problematic, but Ogechi will take the questions for you. And what I really want to say is that the people who are young here, who are undergraduate students, just know that the tiny efforts you put in will one day be taken note of. But you have to have the right mindset and do what you want to do because you want to be a better person. That's what I would say about this. So I'll leave this for Ogechi to take over. But I need to be sure she can hear me. Can you hear me now, Ogechi? I can't really hear you. So you need to unmute yourself. Maybe unmute yourself from yeah.
Okay. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah,
Hello,
there's echo from you.
Can we all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Bada, for this session. Thank you so much for the session. It was so impactful. At least I learned a lot. I learned that leaders are made. Leaders are not born. Leaders are made. Okay, so please, if you have a question, raise your hand up. Raise your hand up and I will point you to ask your question. Please, if I ask you, if you are asked to, if you ask to bring your question, please unmute yourself and on your video. We need to see your fine face as you ask your question. Okay. So any question from Professor Bada's session? I learned a lot too. So if I should ask my own, I have a lot of questions to ask. So any question from any of us? Hello, can we all hear me? Any question?
Okay, can I choose? There are many hands that are up, but I first saw, I hope I am able to pronounce this name. There was a Michael or Mikhail, I don't know. Can we begin with you? There was a Michael, I don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
It's Michael, yeah, it's Michael. There was a Michael.
Oh, Michael, all right. Thank you. Please go ahead with your question, Michael.
Michael, mute yourself, please. And on
all
your
right.
video.
Okay. Good evening, all. By virtue of time factor, I'm in Nigeria, so I'm permitted to greet good evening. First of all, I would like to thank our speaker today for the wonderful piece she delivered. I actually learned a lot, and I wish to learn from others as well. My question is this: she made mention of identifying an energy in terms of what you want to do, and then trying to build it around people. But over time, I've learned one thing. At times you have a plan, a work plan, a zeal and passion towards the just cause. And then you try to channel this same energy around people who are close to you. And then these people are actually not buying into this idea. And we all know that we grow better when we have committed hands around us. So I'm trying to ask, how do you try to balance your passion, your zeal towards a just cause and trying to pursue a particular stuff? And then you're around people with, let's say, people who are actually capable, but they have negative energy about the particular stuff you want to do. And you know this particular thing is very productive. How do you balance? Because as a man, negative energies actually impact your zeal towards something. When you're people and then you have something you want to do and they don't respond to it properly, it actually takes you down. So how do you, intending and aspiring to be a leader, try to drag and then stretch out your hands towards such people and then achieve what you want to do? That's my question.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that question. It is very, very important. How do you ward off negative energy, when it comes to you? And believe me, I have had my fair share of challenges. It is not that it's a bed of roses and this was a very simple thing to do, right? Because there will always be people who are negative. When I began with the OWL library, everyone was saying, oh, who's going to donate? Nobody will care. You are a mountain girl, you're not from mainstream India, you look different, why will people believe your story, right? But obviously it begins with friends. Okay, you have to surround yourself with people who are supportive towards your cause. That's the first thing. And if there is any kind of energy, bad energy, you have to be direct. And the best thing to do with that is, I know confrontation sounds very hard, but you just you have to avoid, you have to either avoid or you confront it, and tell and say, you know what, it's not working out to work with you right now. It has been a wonderful time, but I just don't see us working together. It's better to tell people on their face instead of them hearing about it. It is something that is very, very hard to do when you have to say no to people and when you have to, tell them to no longer work with you, because that did happen. Okay, there was a very major instance with respect to the OWL library as well. I will not go into the details, but I had, as a leader, I had to take strict action. Even though it was a voluntary group, but there was a person who was bringing everybody down. So I had to sit, okay, just like how you would have an exit interview in these corporations, I had to put my foot down and I had to talk to them personally. I said, hey, let's go out for a cup of coffee. Let's talk about it. I began first by talking about the positive part, but then I said, you're no longer a fit to work with us because it's bringing a lot of negativity. That person obviously, was not happy about it, but always, you always try to remain calm. They will scream, they will shout, they will try to create a commotion, but you have to show a poker face. And this, it has taken me a very long time. I am a very emotional person, but sometimes I have to put on a brave face. And like you said, sometimes gender also plays a role. So I will say that, it helped that I'm a woman because, I have that softer touch, so people have more trust in me. But then again, at the end of the day, because I am a woman, not many people will want to be under my leadership, right? Because they think that, oh, men are better, patriarchy seeps in. So that can also happen. So what you have to do is you have to take it like a, with a pinch of salt, like, this is something that can happen. But okay, we will have to move on. But you will need to sit down and have a conversation. It's always best, to do that. Okay, I think using the word confrontation is very negative, but definitely having a conversation and telling it directly to their face. All right, so that is what you can do. Or, or otherwise, if you just keep quiet and you let this manifest, it is going to, affect your mental and your physical well-being, because if there's something in the mentally happening to you, then it's going to affect your physical well-being. And that did take a toll on me sometimes, but I learned, I learned to take it with a pinch of salt. All right. So have a conversation. It's always good to talk to people. All right. So we have another. Another. Okay. So Chinenye, you will.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, John Jala, you can ask your question. Unmute yourself, please. I hope I pronounced it right.
Yeah, that's a right pronunciation. Thank you very much. John Kesedi Jala. I hope you getting me clear. Can you get me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yes, right on.
Okay. I want to say thanks to the facilitator for kind of splendid elaboration. You know, many of these things are needed, most especially when it comes to strengthening your capacity as a leader, like linking it to Shifting Scholarship and many other scholarships around the globe that are interested in helping leaders, most especially when it comes to fielding application stuff. You need to create a strong motivational statement, which comes in with your leadership skills and stuff. So I have a little question, and it has to do with the sustainability aspect of an organization. Like back then in Africa, I learned a lot from her anyway when it comes to the crowdfunding. But back then in Africa, many grassroots organizations or projects tends to diminish due to the lack of financial sustainability. So how do you go about maintaining the growth of the organization or staying on path when it comes to financial sustainability? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If I can call you John Jala, right? Thank you so much for that question. Yeah. So your question is on keeping the organization sustainable. How do you ensure that there is sustainability? Especially you have given an example where in the continent of Africa, there have been a lot of grassroots organizations, but they are fading away. That is, am I getting it right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So from the that I showed you, it is always through community engagement. All right, it is through engaging with the community and working with them together, showing that, you know, this is important for your village. If you are not going to take care of it, it's not going to work. Okay, so we have this rule where, you know, for 2 years we will monitor things, and after that it's completely up to the community to go ahead with the work. So when it comes to funding also, we need to find some kind of sustainable kind of funding. Like I told you, right now we have received some kind of funding, so you need to make a good statement to get these funds. But how do you get these funds? It is by showing that you have been working throughout, even though when there's no money, you have been working. Sustainability, again, it is only when you engage with the community to show that it's important, and they will continue the work to you later. So that is one. But it's definitely a very difficult answer to give. I don't have a perfect answer for that. So right now we are working on, on a book, actually on a couple of books that deals in our indigenous tongue, so we can sell it and gain some money from there. And also there are private funders as well who've seen our work over time. So, you know, we are collaborating with different kinds of people. Yeah, so that is one thing. Those are some of the ways in which you can keep it sustainable. But the number one answer is to always ensure that you
community engagement.
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
I also wanted to add, John Jara,
very much. Yes, sir.
Are you talking from Nigeria?
I'm in India, but I'm a Liberian.
Oh, okay. So
I'm from Liberia, but I'm in India presently studying.
Oh, okay. All right. What I will say to this is, when we started PFF, we had nothing. In fact, I was the one that would go to communities and ask for things. I didn't have anything. It was just myself. I didn't have any job. I was just smarting out of school and I had nothing to do. So The point is that in Africa, raising money is difficult because there's a lot of poverty. People don't have money to give. So why don't you do things that you can do without money? So take, for example, going to a school to speak to them about something that you are passionate about does not cost anything. If you want to, if I sit with you now and say, what kind of project are you thinking about? What do you have in mind? For me, I had the vision of creating a place where students can go to school free of charge. And it started from going to schools to speak to the students, to let them know that there is life ahead of them. There is so much more they can do. And then working with a church close by that had a children department, right? And we'll do lessons for them and all that. And some of these children that I worked with many years ago are older people now. And those things are things that money does not need to be a part of. And for somebody like you now, John, you are in India, you are from Liberia, you have a much more placement in life to do things. You are trustworthy, you are building a reputation that people can rely on. And so your point should not be to ask for money yet. Do everything else that money cannot buy, so that by the time you get to that money junction, you can do what Bada is suggesting. You can do crowdfunding. You can meet people in the village and say, let's contribute a little amount of money and send the best of us to school. That's what I did in some of the villages I went to, and things of that nature. But money should not be primarily your problem. And I want to also feature somebody here, Ajak. Ajak is, well, my friend, my very junior friend. But she had a passion to bring others to come for this conversation, right? She told me that, okay, I have a number of people who are interested in attending this bootcamp, but they don't have the funds. And I tried to see what I can do. The point is, if you don't even have a group, if you've not made the effort, your money will be your primary problem, but that should not be, if you get what I'm trying to say. Your problem should be what you have in mind to do and go about achieving it the way you want to achieve it. Ajak is one of us. She's in South Sudan. She's not in South Sudan. She's in Canada, but she's from South Sudan. But she knew there were people back home that wanted to participate in this event. And she was able to bring them together. And that is also part of being a leader. And so that's what I'm trying to let you know. Majorly, when you come to the point of actually raising funds, you will find that money will come if you are very serious.
Okay, I just want to add something. Okay, obviously, whatever Sop is saying, he's put everything in a nutshell, which is very good. But I have to let you know also, me doing this, it also came from a place of privilege. I had worked for many, many years. Okay, so in the beginning, I was a student just like you. I had nothing, not even a single penny. I worked so many part-time jobs as well, in which even though I was passionate, I could not do it. That's why in one of my presentation, in the PPTs, I told you have to be a realist and not an idealist, right? So being realistic with you, it comes from a place of privilege. When I did not have that privilege, I knew that, I can only use, with the help of my friends, I can do this, doing it for free, not spending my own money. Later on, now that I'm in a privileged position after working for almost a decade now, then I could, spend my own money to show other things, what I can do with this foundation as well. And then slowly now we are getting the funding that we need. So definitely, it takes a lot of time. If you do not, for instance, I do not come from a rich family, but it took me a lot of time to reach to this place. All right. So I just want you all to know not to be disheartened, because sometimes, you need that comfort level also so that you can do things for others. How will you help others when you yourself cannot survive? When you yourself, are not able to help yourself. So first you need to help yourself first, and then go ahead and do those things, whichever you can do for free. Like teach a school, start a small library like what I did, or do something like SCHEM, something with no money, and then later on you can ask for funds when you have examples to show for it. So you lead by example, you show examples, and people will follow you. So it's a process. It's time consuming, and at the same time you need to be in that privileged position. I hope this answers your question. You have anything else to say, Jala? You're muted, Jala. I can't hear you.
Hello. Yeah, I said thank you very much from the both answers the two of you gave. It requires a whole lot of volunteerism, and so I made it is helpful. So it's helpful. Thank you.
Over to you, Chinenye.
And I can't really pronounce your name. Vision from South Sudan. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Vision, are you here?
Yeah, I'm getting.
Okay, please ask your question. 5 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate for the opportunity. It's my privilege actually to ask this question. I was actually the last person to raise my hand yesterday, though I didn't have a chance to ask the question. I'm glad that I am given the opportunity to ask the question today. Basically, thank you, Ma, for sharing the information, and thank you, Ma, for giving me this chance to ask the question. I am Gwar Vision from South Sudan. You might have heard of that country. That's where I am. Currently, I'm going to ask some of the questions. I've learned a lot today, and the few questions that I will ask will base actually on my activities and the challenges that I'm having. To say brief on what I'm just trying to say, to make you understand, I have an initiative within my country, an organization which we created with some group of young people in 2017. And this organization is called TUFI, the Umbrella Foundation Africa Organization. It was formed by a group of young, inspired, and potential young people within South Sudan. And we have been reaching many young people to the extent we manage. Early this year, we came up with a platform called Our Voices. We came and actually make researches. We have gone to most of the states within our country with the help of the community. As my brother asked before, we started this from the crash. We actually started it when some of us were in primary. It was an idea built by a group of classmates and schoolmates from a different classroom from the same school in 2017. So when we came up with this idea, we knew that as young people, we are gifted. And we knew very well that surely we have opportunity to change the life of others. So we came up with this idea and thinking that it is not only financial strong can make you contribute positively to the development of your country and also improving the life of young people. But with your idea, like as Ma said before, that your passions and your desire towards doing something and changing the life of people can give you that ability when you have that burning desire inside you. And because of that burning desire inside us, gave us the ability to run this initiative since 2017, of which some of our members actually know. I actually have some of the representatives that I show in the platform since yesterday, who are also part of this initiative, which make me actually so pleased. So some of the questions that I'm going to ask here are basically on the challenges that we are having at our initiative. Before I came for this meeting, I was having a session with some young potential leaders. I was in Mombasa. I went to Nairobi yesterday to a leadership forum conference there. So I came back to my country today, early at 11. And tomorrow I'm going to the state, and it is about this initiative. We are actually working together with this group of young people that I've just mentioned before. These are some of the questions that I will definitely ask. Currently, we have actually gone to a number of schools. We have moved to 37 high schools, and within these schools, we have opened peace clubs and leadership forums to support young people. These peace clubs we have opened in 37 high schools within the country, 48 primary schools also within the country and in different states, and 7 universities. We have 3 universities within the country, 2 universities outside the country in Kampala, and also in Nairobi, Congo, and 1 in South Africa. This has been possible. It has been possible because of the connection that we have. But with the help of the group of young people, we have managed to open these clubs in different schools, mainly to support the young people, the young, talented, and potential young people, that we believe through your talent, you can contribute and inspire the life of others. But through these activities that we have been running in this high school, we have got many challenges that young people actually always tend to fall apart. We believe that if we have a platform like what we call our voices is a platform that gives young people the opportunity in discovering the power inside their voices and building their talents in contributing and also provoking other young people in a positive way. So when we came up with this initiative platform, it brought the group of young people. As my brother said before, it's not all about having finance or supportive hands from different international, external organizations, but when you stand and you have that burning desire, you can do so. So we came up with the burning desire to do something. Besides that, we don't have the funds. Like I've been, as I said before, I've been in Mombasa yesterday and I came back today. And this was through the help of young people. They actually, when I was invited, we contributed some money, and I went there and I managed to get an award, which I also shared with some of them before. And that award is because of this platform that we brought. It's changing the life of people. Okay. So with this question that I'm going to ask, sorry to take the time. So I'm going to ask the question now.
No time, yes.
Yes, sorry, ma. Definitely, I will now ask my question. Within the country here, we believe, our young people believe so much that leaders are actually those who are born in a royal family. Like if you accidentally or luckily find yourself in a royal family where your dad is the president, then the community will believe that the son or the children will be leaders in future. So once you are born in a poor family, they think that there's no leadership. Even if we force knowledge into them, there's no leadership. So how can we actually help this young generation that leaders are made, as you said before, Ma, that leaders are made, though we tend to say they are born, they can also be made. Regardless of which background you are from, how can we help them? And how can we make them believe that leaders are made? Second, the second thing I'm going to ask, with the platform that we have come in, how can we help young people generate and develop their idea? Because through their talents, they can make great leaders and inspire other people. How can we help them? Since we don't have this platform that exposes other young people, how can we help those who have the passion and the desire to help others through such platforms? So I was going to ask a lot, but because I am not the host, I am only asking questions. So these are the few that I can ask, and I will also wish to ask more tomorrow. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Once again, I'm World Vision from South Sudan. I'm the CEO of the TUFA, the Umbrella Foundation Africa organization. So it's actually working and it's running well. Thank you. I'm also glad to be part of this. I will be glad to hear more questions. I have my team with me. They will also be listening when you are giving us the answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gold Vision from South Sudan. It's very interesting to hear your initiative, Tufa, and also your initiative of Our Voices. It's definitely very interesting, and helping the youth. Actually, the answer lies in you. The answer is, how do we teach others that leaders are not born, but they are made? Like I told you, I do not come from a rich family. There were days when when I was in college, I didn't even have enough money to buy 3 meals per day, I'll be honest with you. But that's a different story. So the answer lies with you. It starts with the youth. It begins by us teaching the youth from today. I forgot to show you one of the exercises we do, where in our little library we have student librarians or student leaders who will look after the library, and we give them badges. All right. And how they are chosen? They are chosen by the students themselves, where they vote for their leaders. Okay. So by doing this, by showing them through this small exercise, it shows that you can choose your own leader, and your leader can be someone who comes from a humble family from your school. So you are already doing an amazing work with Our Voices. So right now you are implanting that kind of knowledge, and with all these students, you're doing a fantastic job. And I hope you will allow me also to use such like a platform, using these leadership clubs in my home state as well. It's a good learning experience for me as well. So that's what. So the answer lies in you, Gore Vision, by starting young. And maybe you can use this activity also of choosing leaders in a classroom by using the ballot, saying where you keep in a blackboard, there are at least 4 candidates that the teachers will choose, two boys, 2 girls. And then out of that, because you cannot have so many candidates, right? And then after that, you can put it out on a vote, and you can put it in the blackboard, their names, while you're doing the vote counting. So, and you show it to them, that vote count. Okay, 1 vote for Gore Vision, 1 vote for Chinenye, 1 vote for Uncle Sop, 1,000 votes for Francis. Okay, so that is how you teach them leadership, that leaders are not born, but they are made, and you can choose your own leader. So this exercise can help you. And like I told you, it's always good to be a realist and not an idealist. So we do things in which we can immediately achieve, right? And this is my answer to you.
I also want to add that Gore Vision, I like what you are doing, and part of what I see from you is the passion. Is a very good way to start, but then you also need further direction. And thankfully, I am your uncle, right? I'm everybody's uncle. So what you have to do is ensure to send a message to Francis. Francis will arrange a meeting for us to meet. Who knows, something might come out of it. All right, Chinenye, take over.
All right, thank you so much for the answer. Thank you, Vision. I can see what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Okay, right around now we take Hannah. Hannah, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Let's take a lady this time around. So Hannah, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good evening from this side, Uganda. My name is Hannah Teresa, and I'm from Uganda. I'm the CEO of Tehan Talks. And Tehan Talks is about mental health, is about youth empowerment and inspiration. So we do things in that kind of line. Well, mine is not a question, but rather to tell what I have learned. I've learned that as a person, I need to take action. If I'm seeing something is going wrong, as the leader in me should come out at that moment, and I should be able to take things, in the path they should be. And I can say it's not something for many of us in this generation. We love to party, we love to, have a good time everywhere, and, we see it. But as youth, let us learn to take action right from the time when we are young. We shouldn't wait for the future for us to now start to rise and now do the different, be different, but let's start by being different. Thank you so much to the speaker. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's session, and I'm glad to have been given a chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for that thought and for for encapsulating everything so well about taking action. I'm glad that, this has been a call for action. And to let you know, my daughter's name is also Hannah. So, so I have that affinity. Yes. All right. So thank you so much for that. And congratulations on, leading your own initiative at a very young age. I can see there's so many leaders in this group. Thank you.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you for your input. You have to be different. That's what I got from what you say. Please, ma, can we take more questions? 2 more persons hand are up. We should take it, ma. David, if we are free, we can take Francis. Francis, please ask your question or meet yourself, please. There is no time.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm Francis, and I want to use this opportunity to thank Ma'am for your wonderful insight on leadership abilities and the skills, and also about the scholarship stuff. Mine is not, I can't say it's actually a question, it's a question anyway. I messaged you on Instagram and about your initiative. Presently, I'm in Bangalore, in India. So, and I happen to have a lot of friends from Shillong and Assam. And I think some of them are well to do to an extent. So that's why I wanted to know if you have a kind of a partner in Bangalore where maybe I can sort of, with my friends, look for a way to raise some books and also donate it to the students in Shillong. So that's why I just want to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francis, for that help. Actually, our the first donation that happened also, it happened from Bangalore, where we got 3,000 book donations by the Rotary Club. And definitely now, we're almost out of books and we will need some more books. Thank you so much for reaching out, Francis. I'm there on LinkedIn and definitely on our library. I will check out your message. And because with respect to a partner now, my friend, she's moved to, the US after she got married. So definitely, thank you so much, Francis. Definitely, we can keep in touch. So Chinenye and the other Francis, could you please share my email with, Udo Francis and my number also, okay? So that we can get in touch. I hope that's okay, Francis. I think it's better we speak one-on-one over the phone since we're in the same country, right? Thank you so much for offering that help. That would be wonderful.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. But please, can you take another question? Let's ask someone else from this and ask question. Okay, I think let's just take this one more question. Elijah, please unmute and ask your question. Please, any other question, just you get the contact pasted on the chat box now. So please, you can reach out to her later with your question. Thank you. Elijah, please go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me this platform to ask a question. I really learned a lot. Leaders are made, they are not born. And to be a leader is not just easy. But I have two questions here. The question based on a story. When you have a project as a leader, to convince people to help you, you have to have a good story. And my question is, what are these things that you can do to know that, yes, I have done a lot, and this would motivate anyone I try asking to help me out? What are some things you can do as a leader to know that you have reached the limit of getting help outside? And my second question here is about partnership. As a leader, you need a partnership after establishing what you have established. You need partnership. So for partnership, what is the safest way to accept a partnership from another
I think we lost Elijah. I cannot hear him.
Hello. Elijah, is you here?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I lost.
Stand up your question.
Yeah, the first question is, what are those things you can do as a leader that make you understand that, yes, I have reached a limit that I think if I ask for help because of what I have done, I will be able to get the help? What are those things you can do that you think that you have reached the limit to motivate those that will help you? That's my first question. Second question about partnership. What is the safest way to get partnership or to accept partnership from others as a leader? Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Elijah Carlos Dolake from Liberia, presently in India studying. So these are my two questions. Thank you.
Which part of India are you studying in? Where in India?
I'm in Maharashtra state, Delta Magi. I'm studying in Delta Magi, Sawangi, Wada Sawangi presently.
All right, that's great.
Maharashtra state.
So much. Thank you so much, Elijah, for those very, very, important questions. The first one is, what will you do as a leader when you have reached that limit and you're no longer able to motivate others, right? So, talking about limits, to be honest, yes, again, to be realistic, it's not that, I'm always motivated 1,000 times. Like I told you, now I am a mother as well. I'm busy with my child. So, so far, I still have that burning passion, just like what Gore Vision had said. I still have that burning vision. So, but what do you do when you reach that limit? Of course, you reach out for a helping hand and you ask, right? You ask for help, and it's completely okay if you ask others to help you, but you have to know who can help you, how they can help you, because not everyone will be wanting to listen to your story as well, right? We've learned about storytelling for funding and all of these things. So when that, you reach that limit, you have to try to engage with others, okay, maybe working in a similar field, and perhaps they can guide you. So for instance, there's another woman leader, her name is Shannon Masar. She started a safe space for children. I want to talk about her as well, but it's just too lengthy that I could not encapsulate everything in this one session. But definitely it's good to reach out to others and they will show you a path. You learn through other best practices, other examples. Okay, like today I'm learning through different examples as well, right, from all of you guys. So that's what I'll say. You reach out from the people you know, and they will connect you to others. So networking is important. And with partnership, you talk about partnership, but I couldn't get the words that you use in the last part. Partnership in respect to what? I could not hear you. I could not make out. Your voice was breaking all the time.
Hello, Elijah, are you still there?
Partnership. Yeah. My question for partnership, I say, what is the safest way to accept partnership from others as a leader? What's the safest way to accept partnership from others as a leader?
The safest way to accept partnership?
Yes, safest way.
Okay.
Partnership, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we have to look at our vision, and we cannot just accept to partner with anybody, right? Because there are people also who have their different agenda. It might be maybe very political, for instance, and that political thing might cause to the detriment of the, not just the reputation, but to the future project, right? So the safest way, again, with partnership, it begins with the people whom you know, to connect you with that. And then later on, through those networks, when you make those networks from one person to another, for instance, I have a law school network, so I begin with that. Then later on, they connect me with others, you know, when they put in a good word. That is how you can make it. Or, you know, you can also work out through LinkedIn, you know, but you have to do your own due diligence. You have to search, you have to study, you have to research, and only then can you make partnerships. Because just doing it with anyone also, it can be detrimental. There can be people that maybe they want to evade taxes also. They might be doing you know, different kinds of things like that. So you have to be very, very sure, and you have to do your due diligence. By due diligence, I mean you go and search each and every detail about that foundation, whatever you have, you know, online. Most of the things are always available online now, you know, whether it's their PAN card like you have in India. With respect to these foundations, you can get a lot of info like that. Okay, so you have to, but mainly I rely on the people that I know who have led me to you know, these other partners. So it begins that way. That is one of the safe ways, but obviously it's not foolproof. All right. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Or is there something else that you want to know?
No, it's okay. You answered my question. It's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Much, Elijah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying till now. Kudos, 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 kudos. You guys are the best. You are the best. Okay, if you have any more questions, please, the details, the contact details, the email will be sent on the WhatsApp group chat. You can do well to send in your questions and you receive answers via email. Yes, so that we won't waste any more time. Okay. So you have our contact details in the WhatsApp group chat and every other thing. Reach out to her, ask your questions, and I assure you, you will get your answers. Okay. Okay. Right about now, we are rounding up. We're rounding up. Please remember to share your experience. So remember to share your daily experience on our social media platforms. It's on the chat box, please. The link to every social media platform is on the chat box. Remember to share your experience so that others will know that we are getting huge value here, so that they will join tomorrow. Yes, so they will join tomorrow. So you have to pay them, gang. Yes. So please share your experience on WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, every social media platform that you can get your hands to. Please share your experience. Okay, thank you so much. Please, tomorrow we still meet again. Thank you. Let's say bye to our facilitator. We love you, Ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chinenye. You're such a, you know, a fireball, and I thank you so much for all your help and for conducting this today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. My pleasure, Ma. Thank you. Okay, so we still meet same time tomorrow, 5 p.m. Please don't come alone. Share the link. Yes, you invite people. And remember that for you to get certificate, you have to be punctual. You have to attend the boot camp every day to Saturday so that you will be qualified for your certificate. And please, there will be virtual gala. Yes, virtual gala. 2 weeks after this boot camp, where the winners for the impact fund will be announced, the winner for the SRIC will be announced, and yes, I'll be there too. Yes, as past winner. And I hope I will win again, sir. No, that one is aside now. Okay, so please, there will be Veshi Gala 2 weeks after now, and then please remember to always share your experience on social media. Thank you so much. Thank you all for today. Francis, over to you. Okay. Hello, Francis, over to you. Okay, since Francis is not joining, I think he's having issues. Okay, there's no, someone is asking, is there no attendance school? There is no attendance school because yes, we are seeing everyone that attended. This is Zoom and is recorded and all that. So don't worry, if you attended, you will be certified at the end of the boot camp. Thank you. All right. All right. This is the end of the meeting of today.
Yeah, I think this is the end.
Meeting. Goodbye, everyone.
We are going to wrap up now. See you guys tomorrow by the same time. We are using the same link. Bye-bye.
Bye.